Hey everyone, welcome back to the Aurora Fire Rescue YouTube channel. It's so good to see you again. Today I am joined by Captain Ryder. You may remember him from such videos as Station 8 Tour, where he just knocked it out of the park. So he stepped up again to go over something really cool. We are here at Fire Station 13, and this firehouse is unique because not only is it a wildland station, but it has both types of wildland fire engines that Aurora Fire Rescue uses. Cap is going to take us through both of them and talk about the difference as to why we have both of them, their capabilities, what they carry, all that. So with that, I'm just going to follow you along with the camera.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do this.
Luckily we don't have to worry about any raccoons on this one. So behind us here, we've got, like Eric said, our two types of wildland apparatus in the city. The smaller one, F550 Ford, this is our Type 6 engine. And then next to it is the big brother, that's our Type 3. So that we call that a brush engine. The biggest difference, obviously looking at them, is the size. And because of that, one carries more water and more hose, the bigger one. Both of these we use in the city and outside the city. This rig, the small one, is brand new, just went in service a few weeks ago. But the Type 6 and the Type 3, in general, we've taken all over the country. So not only in Aurora, but also California, Montana, Oregon, Washington, they go all over. Obviously our priority first is the city, hence why that's a new one. We actually have two of them. The city isn't just the city limits. We also have a lot of land outside the city limits for our water infrastructure, where these come into play as well. We try to protect our own water needs in the city, in the mountains.
So what a lot of viewers will probably notice is they look at these striking right away. They're high off the ground, they're four-wheel drive. They've got grill guards, they've got winches. Kind of walk me through the terrain that these sometimes have to drive through and why that's important.
Well, fortunately, we're looking at a brand new one. You look at any of our other ones, you'll see what they can and can't do because they got battle scars all over them. They'll be scraped up, they hit rocks, take things out. If we were able to have this on a lift, you would see all the armor these have on the bottom to protect the drivetrain. That just goes to show you the types of places we take these. A lot of these places you'd go in your personal vehicle, unless you're an off-roader, you'd be like, nope, but these go there. That big one, the Type 3, it actually has a tilt gauge on it, so you can know how far you can and can't go, but you would be surprised at the slopes these could traverse without rolling over. It's pretty impressive. And that's also why they have dualies. They're not single rear wheels. One for the weight and two to give them a wider base.
We just got done doing some training, so there's hose being loaded at the back of Brush 13. You want to start with Brush Engine 13,
yeah.
And we can kind of start at the front and work our way around, check it out.
So the Brush engine is a Freightliner cab. This was built by SVI up in Loveland. I think it stands for Supervac Inc.
You got it.
They built this. We have a Type 6 from them as well. But this is basically like you see a tow truck going down the road, a Freightliner, same cab, just on steroids. Just lift it up, a lot of power. It's a big, big rig. All our wildland rigs have winches. That's to help us get unstuck, because we talked about the terrain and things we go through. You might need it. We run synthetic cable on our winches. Also have the big lights, because when you're in the desert of California or Nevada, it's really nice to have these bright lights when there's no ambient light around.
Yeah, there's been a few times I've been on brush fires, even here in the city, just these being able to cut through smoke better than headlights. Yeah. It's impressive.
It is very impressive. And since this is a bigger rig, carries a lot more stuff. We'll look in the cab in a second, but we can take a peek in all our compartments. So these are progressive packs. These are so, especially in the city, we can get around a fire or a house quickly. We can just put that pack on, hook onto a discharge, grab that hose reel, spray water, get this pack out and get around a fire. So our goal in the city is to keep any fire under 1/10 of an acre. And to do that, we need these and we need all this stuff. But these play a big role in that. All our engines actually in the city have one of these. Brush trucks have 4. This one has 6, I believe, sometimes 8. We'll see when we get to the other side. But that way, like engine 1 in the heart of Aurora can have a grass fire, which they do. They can deploy one of these. Another brush truck from one of those stations I mentioned shows up. They can deploy another pack right on top of theirs. They're all they work together. We don't have to worry about anything. It makes it so we can just streamline it and hit fires a lot quicker. Because like I said, goal is 1/10 of an acre or less, which is a basketball court. So then this is area for personal gear when we go on deployment, or like today, there's no other gear in here because we just got done training on the Type 6 doing a video. So the engineer pulled his stuff out here. Otherwise, you look at any compartment, it's never empty if we're going somewhere. It just is right now. Also still carry EMS supplies because Aurora's an ALS department. Every rig on it has a paramedic. When we go outside the city, we don't do paramedicine, but we still carry an AED, oxygen, first aid kit, because things happen, and if someone's hurt, we want to be able to help them.
Sure.
Some of the hose this rig carries, which there's a lot more on top. And this isn't for short people, that's why we got these these straps, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to shut anything.
Yeah, I'm not tall enough for this ride, for sure.
And here, these are drip torches. You've probably seen them on TV or other YouTube videos. Sometimes you need to fight fire with fire. We carry drip torches. It's a mixture of gasoline and diesel. Take this off and a wick comes out and we can put fire on the ground to help control fire.
So most apparatus enthusiasts are used to seeing SCBA cylinders there. This might be the only one that I know of that has drip torches there.
Yes, that's what the original purpose for these was SCBA bottles. These 2 rigs, probably should have mentioned that. None of our rigs, Wildland rigs, carry structural firefighting stuff. These are for our Wildland issues. And if you may have noticed any red flag day, if you're around the city, you might see these driving around. We do varying levels of upstaffing for high fire danger, and we use these rigs. Even though this rig has 2 pumps built into it, one on top and one in the back, we'll see, we carry a 3rd pump. This is our auxiliary pump, 70 GPM pump. We can use it to fill the rig if the water source is far away and we can't pull a draft or suck the water out of whatever it is, we can use that. Or if we have to hike in and there's a water source, we can hike that puppy in. I've used these in the city to pull out of different little water spots so that we can fight fire there, where like Jewel Wetlands, for example. You can't get a rig in there, you'll just sink into the ground. So those have to stay on the outside. We can bring that in to be able to supply water off the creek or a pond to put fire out. And then all our adapters, because hose, you can't just use hose, you need a lot of things to go with hose.
And then up top, bladder pack.
Yep. We've used those in the city. This is think of it like a water backpack. Old technology, still very, very relevant. This is actually, I believe, what the pack test was originally designed after in weight. Pack test is 3-mile hike in 45 minutes with 45 pounds on your back. This, you fill this with water and you can go to town spraying, putting fire out. We carry 2 of them. Same with the Type 6. I'm too short right now to put that in.
I had you take it down so the audience could watch you jump up and down, but you didn't take the bait.
No. So then the obvious thing in the back, this is how you control all the 600 gallons of water sitting in this puppy. This has a 500 GPM pump. All your discharges are back here, except for there's a hose reel. We saw the one, there's another one on the other side. This is what makes the water go from doing nothing to doing something. All the pumping carries foam.
And then flat load of additional hose up top.
A lot of hose. So you've got hose so this hose on the left looks different than the rest because that's double jacketed hose. So I lied earlier when I said this doesn't carry any structural firefighting stuff. That's double jacket hose, same as structural hose for structure fires. That's our engine protection line. The reason it is double jacket, so it won't burn through as quick. That's if the fire's coming up to us and we can't get out. We need to try to save the rig and the people. That's what that hose is for. Then you see 1,000 feet of 1.5-inch hose. You got two 200-foot flat loads of more 1.5-inch hose on a gate. This rig carries a lot of hose. And if we were to climb up top, it's got storage for all our deployment gear, or we call them our red bags. It's all our stuff to take care of ourselves for 2 weeks. Tent, clothing, toiletries, all that stuff is up there, and a cooler and cases of water.
It's a lot.
These little guys, people wonder, we'll see in a compartment if I remember to point it out. Post goes on here, we can wrap hose. So say we're at a Sampson Gulch or a Sand Creek and we're doing structure protection, we can just pull around a house. Once we get the fire past that house, we can just wrap the hose so it's easily deployable.
And then a headset junction box for the engine operator if they're back here and need it? Okay.
Yep. And then there's also speakers back here for hearing the radio. Really hard to hear. That's why we got this when you're running this pump. Because this pump won't shut itself off when it runs out of water. The auxiliary Kubota pump that you can control from here will kill itself when it runs low on water and drops in pressure. But hearing is challenging when you're running a pump. Hand tools, big strainer for using suction to pull water into the rig if we don't have a hydrant to use. So here, more torches. These don't really get used that often in the city, but we have them. We do use them quite a bit outside the city. It's just in the city, almost everything's surrounded by concrete at some point until we get to the eastern part of the city, but there's still uses for them. Chainsaws. We don't cut too many trees within the city limits because a lot of them are cottonwoods. Cottonwood is a hazard tree for us. We only have a few folks that can actually fell them safely because how they die from the inside out and you can't tell. It's just a dangerous tree to cut. Carry two saws. A lot of people ask why we carry two saws. Well, one is we may have two sawyers, so two people can run a saw. But the other one is if they're felling a tree, get a saw stuck, you've got another saw to free the first one. Or if we're in the mountains helping our partners up there and we have to clear a road just to get into the fire or to get out because we need to evacuate the area because the fire's too big. That way you can have two people cutting while we get out of there.
Sure.
All the safety stuff that goes with the saw, chaps, things like that. Yep. So 8. So I said we 6 or 8. It depends because we have to fill the whole city from this station. And if another rig, if they had something go wrong with their pack, they may come from here. So we got 8 packs on here now. More of these. We haven't talked about these at all. These are our fire shelters. So we don't, in the city, there's more safety zones. We can get to a parking lot, get to a street, but we may not. So whenever we're operating these rigs, we use these. And the key is this thing right here, which is your fire shelter. I kind of equate it to being a baked potato. This has saved lives though. A lot of technology in this little bag. But that's one thing, this is the last resort. Fires overrun you. It's either lay down and just die or try to live. That's what you use your fire shelter for. And we train on this every year to maintain your red card. You have to deploy a training shelter every year on top of your pack test and then, doing a refresher.
And the rest of that pack is pretty big. What general things do you carry when you go on deployments in your bag?
I carry spare socks, 1 pair, shirt, a paracord, which is just a thing of cordage, so if I need to tie something up or tie some hose together to carry it out, carry a few tools in it, and then usually your lunch, and then a lot of water. We carry a lot of water when we're out working because you're working nonstop. I don't use these. I use the 32-ounce Nalgene's or even the bigger ones. If we carry, I think some folks carry like a gallon or two of water.
Wow.
Because you may not come back to this rig all day, so
Right.
that's why that pack is so big. And these are small compared if you look at like not a smoke jumper, they carry a lot of stuff, but a hot shot, their bags, they're packed to the brim full of things.
Sure.
So then the cab, big cab, it's like a 4-door giant tow truck. 4 seats, carry MDCs like the rest of our rigs, so we know where we're going and we can get the notes on it. We also carry 2 types of radios. I'll grab them. So we've got our city radio, works on all the city towers, and you can go across the state with these with statewide channels, which is an all digital system. And then we have our Bendix radios, which are VHF, so that when we go, say we do mutual aid into the mountains and we don't have them in the state bank of radios or radio channels, we can go to their VHF channels. And if we don't have them in here, all we do is hook a thing into the side, hook into their radio, and we can pull it. We can get all their frequencies.
Yeah, interoperability is always a huge challenge with
Yes,
Wildland.
very much so.
You want to jump up in maybe the driver's seat? I'll jump up in the passenger seat, and then we can talk about the stuff that's kind of in the middle.
Cool beans. So up in the old cockpit we got here, similar to the Type 6, we have a lot of the same stuff, just in different places or just bigger. So we have our radios. You've got the Motorola for in-city, and then the Bendix radio. Just like that little one I showed you, this one we can program on the fly as well. And unlike like every other CDL vehicle, you've got all the stuff to go with the rig itself. Because like I said, this is like a giant tow truck or even close to a semi. Air brakes, this has sirens, got an air horn, all the fun stuff. Same thing, you can run this pump from inside the cab as well. You can fire it up, both pumps. Well, one's the PTO, and then this is the auxiliary pump. That PTO, power takeoff, this pump doesn't rely on the rig's motor to run. It's got its own Kubota to run it.
So you can be driving while firefighters are next to the truck spraying water.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that earlier. That's one of the biggest things with a Type 3 and a Type 6. Anything below a Type 2 can do what's called pump and roll. We can pump water while moving. Like a Type 1 engine, our normal structure engines, those are classified as Type 1 engines. They don't pump and roll. You got to have the air brakes set, wheels chalked to flow water. This one and the one next to us can flow water while cruising down the road, which is huge for, especially around here, grass fires. Grass fires move fast. We've got to drive with it. Someone out there walking, spraying water.
Sure. And another big difference people may notice, you got the headsets in here because this truck is probably a lot louder than that F550 is.
A lot louder.
And then, is this what you were talking about, the pitch and roll?
Yep, there it is. That's so you can see what's happening and if you need to think about bailing out. But you don't really have to bail out. It just helps you know, helps the driver know what's going on. And knowing, like I said, this thing, you can get on some pretty gnarly angles and it's perfectly fine. And then you don't want to look at that because that'll make you even more nervous. But you do because it's a tool.
Sure.
Tool in the toolbox.
Sweet. Well, that's a great tour of the brush engine. We want to look at the brand new brush truck and compare the two.
This was BFX down in Texas. Most are Type 3 or Type 6s, sorry, except for the one built by SVI or BFX. This is our 5th one, I believe. Yep, I think it's our 5th one. Really like them. It's a great rig. Similar to that one. It's got the winch, the bright lights, Opticom. One thing we didn't talk about either is this weird funny thing on top. Unless you're a rancher which they have a lot of them. Most people don't know what these are. That's a cell booster, boost your cell signal. Because like I said,
I'll move it into the blue sky background so people can see it easier. Right there. Cell booster, because sometimes you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yep. But like we can tell, this one obviously carries less stuff than that one.
Sure.
One of the typing things between type 6 and type 3 is water and hose, besides personnel. Obviously type 3, more hose, more everything, because it's a bigger rig. So we still have dual hose reels on this one on each side. Same packs, just less of them. So this compartment normally has 3 of these progressive packs in it. Only 2, because like we said earlier, we were training. They're loading those packs up to put back in here. So this thing's usually full of 3 progressive packs, and we have 1 on the other side. More fire shelters.
And that's a smaller version,
Yep.
right? This is something maybe you just put on for a brush fire in the city.
Yep.
And not necessarily something you'd wear all day.
Yeah, much smaller. Little pack and your shelter.
Okay.
We try to encourage people to use those tools to help them operate more safely. Giving them a smaller pack is one way to do it. And it's just less cumbersome if you're getting in and out of the rig.
Sure.
Oh, look what showed up. There's their replacement packs.
Just fill them.
This is Lieutenant Anderson giving her cameo. Same thing, 2 saws. Goes back to the same reasoning. That one has it. This one has them as well. EMS kits. We just talked about why we need a cell booster, because you're in the middle of nowhere. Well, that's why we got 2 boxes of MREs. Lovely to eat. Not really, but we got 2 boxes of them.
EMS equipment, because you just never
Yep.
know.
Yep, carries all the base stuff. Like I said, not really ALS, more for stings, cardiac events. There's an AED back there as well. Only 2 drip torches on this little guy. Same, another pump, auxiliary pump. This rig only has 1 pump attached to the rig, whereas the other one had 2. This
Okay.
one has 1. Lower GPM. That one was 500. This one's less. So we got that little pump. That one gets used a lot more on this rig when we go outside the city, hiking it in or filling up this rig. It's a very versatile pump, really useful. You've seen other ones, if you've seen any forest fire stuff, big old Mark IIIs. This is way smaller, easier to move around.
Okay.
All the stuff to go with all our hose and water usage. Hand tools. Carry a whole complement of hand tools in here, such as this one. A lot of variations of that. A lot of people think a tool's a tool. It all depends on terrain and location. This may do great in Colorado, horrible in California or somewhere else. So we have, well, you can see a whole range of tools in there.
Okay.
And then here's our pump area. A little different than the big guy over there. But this one, same thing, you can start it from in the cab or outside. Hence why this is out, because when you start a pump, it needs to have water. This is how you get it water, so we leave it out so we can be driving, getting on scene of a fire, and fire that pump in the cab, get out running, and start putting fire out.
And how much water does this one carry compared to the brush engine?
This one is 308 gallons, 12 gallons of foam. Both rigs carry foam. I don't think I mentioned it over there. If you're into the metric system, it's 1,165 liters of high quality H2O and 48.07 liters of foam.
You do that math in your head?
No, luckily there's a tag right there.
You could have said yes.
I could have.
YouTube would have believed you.
But I learned a long time ago, don't do math in public.
Yeah, good call.
Spare tire. We also, this is a new thing we added to our fleet of stuff, traction pads.
Oh, okay.
These are the Vivor style. Trying the low price first.
Yeah.
See how that goes. That's spare tires. Spare tires get used a lot on this rig, unfortunately. A lot of pop tires out there. Even in the city, it happens quite regularly.
Sure.
And then suction hose, so we can get water. We talked about over there drafting, pulling water into the rig. That's what all this hose is for. So we can suck out of hot tubs, pools, ponds, rivers, any water source. We can get water into this rig if we can get close enough. Otherwise, we use the little pump and we can pump water into it.
Every little bit of space in here gets used in this box.
And this will be our only empty-ish compartment, and that's a transient thing because this is where you would put all your stuff if you're going on deployment. So we have storage up top for our red bags that we've talked about, the 14 days worth of stuff, but people need backpacks. They've got other things they need to carry. That's where it'd go here. And we saw on the other rig, the bigger line packs with the shelter. This rig has the little ones. Big ones take up more space. Most likely you're gonna be putting your line pack in here because it's not gonna fit in either of these side compartments.
Sure.
And this is the only hand tool that's not back in there because the handle's too long.
Okay.
It's a shovel. And then up here, we just did a training on a new pack we did. That's what goes right here. It's a trunk line, 200 feet of hose, and a starter pack that has some pieces in it to get to the base of a fire quicker. They're reloading that as well, hence why that's open.
And then littler bladder bags, it looks like?
Yep.
For your backpack?
Same amount of water, just not as cool looking.
Yeah, they lay a lot flatter.
Yep. And then a bunch of hose. I believe it's 800 feet an inch and 800 feet of 1.5 inches.
Okay.
Single jacket hose. So unlike our structure engines where our hose isn't as interoperable with Denver, South Metro, this hose is. Same as the feds carry, same as all the other departments carry for single jacket hose. So we can just connect right into their hose systems.
And the advantage to single jacket is it's a lot lighter, right?
A lot lighter, cheaper, does break more, but we're not running it at the same PSI or pressure that we would structure fire hose. But a lot lighter and a lot less space. We wouldn't be able to fit, even though it's other hoses double jacket, this is single. I think double jacket takes up more than double the amount of space when you roll it up.
Sure.
Another progressive pack. This is where more personal effects would go.
And then the air compressor is super cool. I haven't seen that on a Type 6 yet.
Yeah, so our ladder, we've got, I think we have 4 now with it.
Okay.
Newer thing in the last few years. The reason we super pushed for it was cleaning tools, especially chainsaws. Like it's a real pain to clean a chainsaw with just elbow grease. It helps to have air to blow stuff out instead of trying to get every little thing out. And filling tires. We can also, because fire season's year round now, we go to Fort Collins on a fire for the night and it's going to get below freezing. We need to winterize this pump. And to winterize it, we dump all the water and we blow air through it to clear it out.
Okay.
And then if we're going to be there prolonged and not use water, we can put in antifreeze and stuff. But that way we can winterize the pump and clean tools, fill up tires. Another thing, obviously, most people have been on dirt roads. They're not pleasant. Well, firefighters, for some reason, like to drive with their windows down all the time. Gets real dirty in there. Just blow it out.
Blow it out.
And you're good to go.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a super useful tool to have, is that compressor.
And then another hose reel here, a little.
Yep, 100 feet.
Okay.
Each one's 100 foot. The good thing about this is you can recouple it if you have a problem. So it's a really nice hose.
You want to jump in the cab again like we did with the Type 3 and we'll just do a little compare the notes?
We'll have to get friendly. It's a lot smaller.
Yeah, we will.
Fortunately, I've known you for a really long time.
So long. I don't know if I could calculate all the years, actually.
Me neither. This is what, 24 in the fire service, plus being explorers together. It's been a long time.
I think he's saying we're old. I'm old, he's experienced. That's the difference.
We're both old. MDC, just like the other rig and the rest of the city. We've got these.
Tells you where the calls are, maps you there.
Yep, yeah, you can see where everyone's at. But these ones are unique in that they do this. So this one goes up so that if the vehicle was on and we were in reverse, backup camera.
Awesome.
So we always use spotters, but it helps to have the extra spotter of technology with a camera so you can see what's going on.
Definitely.
And then just like the other rig, we've got our radio the Bendix VHF city radio, all our controls for our lights, our emergency lights. We can roll up those hose reels from in here, start the pump, play with the siren, fancy armrests. Our other rigs didn't have this. Kind of real nice actually.
Yeah.
And then all the same portable and all different types of portable radios, the same ones as the brush engine that we looked at.
Okay.
And then the coveted cup holders. Unfortunately, there's only 2. So you got a rock, paper, scissors for cup holder.
Nice.
Yeah, this is, I think this is a 2025. So if you don't know, fire engines and apparatus are in big backlogs. These not as much because they're not built by the big manufacturers. So this cab may be a 24 or 25, even though we've only had it for a few weeks. Just the backlog on building apparatus.
Sure. Well, this is awesome. Thanks so much for the tour.
My pleasure. I wish we would have saw some raccoons around, but
I know.
not today.
Skim pickings out here. Might be
Yep.
some rattlesnakes up on that hill though.
Yeah, we just hiked it, fortunately. We're
Didn't see
good.
one. Didn't hear one. Probably for the better.
Yep.
All right, YouTube. Well, thanks again for tuning in and for watching. We have more apparatus features coming up, including the other special operations rigs, Heavy Rescue 5 and Hazmat 2. But especially since we've had probably more red flag warnings than I can certainly remember during the beginning of the year, and certainly more to come because of drought conditions and just generally not getting much rain, these brush trucks are probably going to continue to get a lot of use. So it's a good time to show them to you. If you have any other video suggestions or anything that you'd like to see, let us know and we'll go and make those videos. Maybe we'll catch Captain Ryder again on Engine 8 or at 13s, or you name the house wherever he's on tour.
Yep.
With that,
good.
we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.